2 weeks ago, Justin Gaethje pulled off the biggest upset in UFC history. He beat Ilia Topuria, the undefeated two-division champion, in dominant fashion. Ilia had never been in a close fight up until that point, but Justin was able to beat Ilia in his own game and became the first ever person to make Ilia Topuria experience defeat. I think this fight showed that Ilia isn't invincible and that he can't just walk everyone down and knock them out with ease like he has in the past. I also see a lot of people talking about Ilia, saying that he was never that good, saying that he got fraud checked, but I don't understand how someone could be a fraud. If you look at his last three previous fights before that, knocking out three legends back to back to back in Volkanovski, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, becoming a two-division champion, I don't think someone could be a fraud in that way. But it's going to be interesting to see how Ilia comes back from this loss. I think he can go one of two ways. He's either going to learn from this loss and come back even better, not trying to just stand and knock out his opponents, but also using his grappling, which is his base in MMA. He did start off as a grappler, but he's been so dominant in striking, knocking everybody out, that we haven't really seen that as much in the UFC. This fight could also affect his one of his strongest attributes, in my opinion, which is his confidence, his mindset. In all of Ilia's last fights, he was celebrating his wins the fight before the fight even happened. Went into each fight with the mindset that he had already won, and it worked his entire career up until the Gaethje fight. This loss can change his mindset on fighting, and he might not go into fights as confident as he once was, which will make him fight a lot different than what we've seen. It will make him fight a lot more scared. He won't be going for the kill as much. He could, it could be a good thing as well. He might fight a little bit smarter, but I think overall, it will make him a lot weaker of a fighter, and he won't have as much success with that mindset. I think having that, mindset that you've already won the fight, going into the fight, just confident that you're gonna knock out your opponent. I think that's what made Ilia so dominant, and that's what led to him becoming a two-division champion, knocking out three goats. And yeah, I think the best option for Ilia is to use this as fuel, and I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to use this fight as fuel to become even better. I think Ilia is going to take some time off from fighting, focus on leveling up his game even more than it already is. And if you look back at the fight with Gaethje, Ilia easily could have won a round two if he followed up with ground and pound when he dropped Gaethje with those nasty body shots. But he made the mistake of going for a submission. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. I kind of agree with it. I think he was going for the submission to prove a point, rather than believing that's really he. I think he knew he could have finished Gaethje with the ground and pound, but I think he went for the submission to prove a point that he can grapple, and which would have made the Islam fight even bigger. That Ilia knows how to grapple as well, which we already know that, but I think he was trying to prove a point that he can do it against the best of the best and Justin Gaethje. And I don't think Ilia Topuria will make that mistake again. I think he's going to go into each fight with the intention of finishing his opponent, no matter what the way is. I think Ilia will end up getting a title shot when he comes back. And depending on who the champion is by then, it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to this loss, how he comes back from this loss. I think it's going to be a little bit till he returns, probably till later next year. I think in the meantime, the fight that UFC should book is Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles Oliveira for a number one contender. I think they need to make that fight as soon as they possibly can, for the winner of that fight to fight Gaethje probably by the end of this year. I think that's a big fight right there. Dana White said Arman needs to work his way back up to a title shot. I think that's the perfect opportunity. Charles Oliveira has made a really good comeback after getting knocked out by Ilia. He beat Gamrot, submitted him, and we obviously saw the last fight against Max Holloway where he just controlled him and dominated him the entire fight. So I think that's the best fight to make. Winner of that fight's Gaethje. I do believe that Arman Tsarukyan will win that fight, but it's interesting to see. Charles Oliveira has never lost a rematch. He's undefeated in rematches. He's always came back, so maybe he might do that again against Arman, defeat him, and fight Gaethje. I think both of those guys have a good shot at beating Gaethje, but I'm not doubting Justin Gaethje anymore. I doubted him against Paddy Pimblett earlier this year. I doubted him against Ilia Topuria, and in both of those fights, he won in dominant fashion, showing that he still has it, showing that he is the best in the world. He is the best lightweight in the world right now. So those should be good fights. I think the winner of Arman versus Charles should fight Gaethje, and the winner of that fight should probably fight Ilia, probably summertime around 2027. I think it'll be about a year till we see Ilia Topuria back in the octagon. He did take a lot of damage in the Gaethje fight. Uh, I think it's better for him to take some time off from training in general and then come back, have a full camp, fully dialed in for his return. I do believe that Ilia Topuria will come back from this loss stronger. I think he's going to show a lot of people that, he still has it. I think everyone's doubting Ilia. I think everyone's, acting like he's a fraud, acting like he was never that good, which doesn't make any sense. Ilia Topuria, I believe, will end up being one of the greatest fighters of all time by the time he retires. If he's able to bounce back from this loss, I think this is, a big, this is going to be a big challenge in his career, overcoming this loss, especially just his confidence. That's going to be the main thing. He might not ever be the same. He might go on a losing streak and never be the same fighter. We've seen that happen to people that Justin Gaethje has beat. Look at Tony Ferguson. He was one of the best lightweights in the world. Justin Gaethje just beat him up the entire time. Tony did have some success in that fight, but Justin did a lot of damage to him, and Tony Ferguson was never the same. So we'll see how Ilia comes back and overcomes this loss. It should be interesting. Let me know how you guys think Ilia Topuria is going to come back from this. I'll see you guys in the next video.